And then I got on set and I was sitting around a circle with all these other stunt guys that didn't know him, and I had this encyclopedia. It was like a book this thick about Jackie Chan, and
Oh
I
my
was like
God.
going through. I was I was like a fan, total
Yeah.
fanboy, right? So I was like going through it, and then I felt this hand on my shoulder, and I'm like, oh, and I look up, and there's Jackie.
What's going on, Geeks and Geekettes? It's a very special edition of the Countdown to the Geekcast. Once again, my name is Ted, aka Steady, and my special guest today is not only the director of the movie we're about to talk about, but I've gone through his career, and let me tell you, I feel like he's done some very special things that I can't wait to ask him about. So stay tuned because I got a lot of really good questions. Joining me on the show today, Kimani Ray Smith, the director of The Painter. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing awesome. How you doing, Steady?
Fantastic, man.
I love your background. Like that's the best background ever, dude. It's
This
amazing.
is this is my Zen
Ghostbusters.
room.
Yeah. Lots of Ghostbuster, yeah. Love the Ghostbusters.
I
Yeah.
was real quick
Yeah,
offside.
yeah.
You know, I was born in '84, which I feel like was probably the greatest year in movies. Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Terminator. I mean,
Oh
just
yeah. Just
amazing.
amazing.
So yeah, and it's a
Was
very
it
good
was
year for
Alien? Was
Ghostbuster
Alien?
fans.
What year was Aliens? Was
The
that in that
first one is the early late '70s. The first one was
first one? 79? 79, was
something
it?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're here to talk
Amazing.
about you now. Let's enough about
Let's
me.
go.
All about you now. The Painter. I feel like I've seen every spy movie you can imagine, and at the core, this felt like a spy thriller to me. But
Mhm.
this one did give me some things to really appreciate because the story was different. The Your main character had these sort of extraordinary abilities. The story itself was very plot driven. It kept you guessing who can you trust all the way to the end. So there was so much to appreciate about it. I feel like it wasn't just a run of the numbers type spy movie, in my opinion. But let's
Mhm.
talk about first how you got involved with it. Tell us about that.
I got involved with this. I was a stunt coordinator on a few other projects with the executive producer, Stephen Paul, the SP Media Group. And he was up in Vancouver, where I'm based out of, in Canada. And he was doing a few movies here, and I was the stunt coordinator. And he had this idea of the painter, and he pitched me as the director. He's like, I want to do something with you. I like your style, kid. Let's work together, kind of thing, on a different level. So yeah, he put me in the director's chair, and yeah, just came up with this kind of crazy world of the painter. And
And I know
yeah,
you have a short list of films you've directed before, but this is sort of different for you, right? Most of your
yeah,
other projects were like horror driven. This
yeah.
was action based, spy thriller. Was it ever overwhelming? Was it ever like you're unsure? Do you like sort of being out of your comfort zone when it comes to projects like this?
Yeah, I wasn't afraid of it. It was a lot to tackle because of the amount of time we had to shoot it. So that was fearful to me because we didn't have, what I mean, you with such
Do
a big,
tell. Like a
well, you
month?
just have such a, no, not even, but
Wow.
yeah, yeah. You have such a, it's such a big expansive world to painter, right? With the
Right.
internship and the superpowers and spy game, the dysfunctional family aspect, and trying to put all this into one feature where it's really an expanded kind of universe.
Yeah.
So that part was like, oh, how are we going to do this? But the I, even before I jumped in the director's chair, I was always into, like, with stunts or acting or stunt performing, just a lot of genre work. You know what I mean? I think I've shot, like, I've done zombies, werewolves, vampires,
Everything.
witches, everything, right? Like
Everything.
under the aliens, everything. So it was kind of always in there. So it was nice to just have like a straight action, driven kind of story, for once.
Absolutely.
The superhero aspect of it kind of
Yeah.
takes you into that genre, right? A little superhero genre. So it's like,
Yes.
can't
Like I
escape it.
Yeah, like I mentioned, and I think that's what people can really kind of lean into is that the nuances of this movie compared to your just run of the day sort of general spy movie. Lean into that because I felt like that really pulled me along. I was so
Mm.
engaged with those plots and those differences. Fantastic stuff. You and
Yeah.
Charlie Weber, how did you, make sure you kind of grounded this character, but also brought to life this ability that he had? What were some of those specific things that you guys had to discuss on set?
Uh, well, first of all, Charlie is an amazing human being. Love the guy to death. He's just amazing. And he's such a great leading man. Like he has all the characteristics and traits of a leading man. He's just soft spoken, very gracious actor, very loving character. And it kind of played against that grain, you know what I mean, of the action hero or the, spy thriller guy we've seen with muscles popping out of his, eardrums kind of thing, right? So
Yeah,
he kind of played like a normal Joe, you know what I mean, a normal guy that kind of brought that, you know what I mean? Especially for, someone that has an artistic kind of side too, where they're a painter and
right.
enjoy the quiet solitude life, you know? So Charlie was great with that. So going to the superhero aspect of it, which I really wish that we could have dove into a little bit more in this with all the characters and how they got it and have a little bit more backstory. But of course, we had such a short shooting schedule and we're never going to contend with a Marvel or a DC, so we had to really ground it down to just like very I guess low level low level superpowers. There's no flying or super strength or anything like that,
I
so
gotcha. I
it's
gotcha.
stuff, yeah, it's stuff to do with the senses and so yeah, it's just trying to put in those, like how it helps him
Yeah.
to the day to day, how it helps him in his craft, how does it help him uh get through a mission or go through a journey. So it's just we discussed a lot of with especially with the gift of hyper hearing, like being able to hear a heartbeat and know, like as you see with John's character, it's like he had a pacemaker, a fake pacemaker, so he could hide his heart because he had an irregular heartbeat. That
Oh man.
if
Yeah.
if you didn't catch it in the beginning in the restaurant in the diner sequence, he hears his heartbeat and knows that it's his dad. So when he plays the junk man, he has to put a synthesized heart
Yeah.
and a pacemaker to scramble his son's superhero, right? So
Yeah.
he wouldn't
Yeah.
know it was him looking after him. So yeah. So
Charlie
yeah,
was
it's go ahead.
Charlie was fantastic. Sorry for cutting you off.
No,
But I feel like Jon Voight can do no wrong, and when he's on screen, he's eating up every scene. And there's a bit of a twist I don't want to ruin.
yeah,
There's actually multiple twists that I don't want to ruin, but there is something
yeah. I guess I shouldn't have
quite
said that.
it's all good. It's all good. There's so many things in this movie that you can't spoil. So like there's
Yeah,
plenty left over. But John does a few things in this movie that were very impressive. And I'm like, wow, this guy can still, act his ass off. How was it working with John on this film?
Jon Voight is a legend.
Yes.
He is an amazing talent, amazing actor. He helped our cast out so much because he is that veteran. He's full of ideas, super creative, super gracious. He would like get together with the actors on his own time and work the scenes with them, work the dialogue. Um, he's very hands-on when he goes into a project. He's very hands-on, like
Ah,
even down to editing his scenes and stuff. Like he's like right in there. He loves the craft of filmmaking. And yeah, as soon as that guy's on screen, like it's just his presence, like it's just, yeah, he can do no wrong. You're absolutely right. And he's like in the painter, he did all his own stunts.
What?
Yeah, yeah. Like when he got shot and fell
Wow.
down, that was Jon Voight.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
like I almost had a heart attack because he wasn't supposed to do that. I had a stunt double there for him, but nope, he wanted to go. It's like wow. So yeah, he's super strong, super spry. He loves the art and gives it its all. You know.
Well, that must have been awesome working with him. And yeah, hats off to his performance. He, like I mentioned, he's asked to do multiple things in this movie, and he drives a plot a lot of the time. And I was just so kind of happy to see him in this role.
Yeah.
I was introduced to somebody else in your movie who I've not seen before, but dude, like almost stole the show from John. Max Montesi, who plays
Oh yeah.
Ghost,
Yeah.
and I'm like, he's channeling something I've seen before. So let me know if you've watched this film. Years
Okay.
ago, Tom Hanks made a movie called Road to Perdition, and Jude Law played this really unique and sort of charismatic hitman. And Max Montesi is just like channeling that character from Road to Perdition. Um, I don't know what it is. He's just so sinister looking at times, and yet
Yeah.
his mannerisms and the way he goes about, doing his own personal work, is so interesting. I was so invested in him, even though he's clearly the bad guy. But talk
Yeah.
about Max. Did he kind of bring this character to life on his own? Was it very collaborative between you two? How did that work out?
Yeah, well, yeah, Max is a uber talent as well, and he is a Vancouver actor actually. And
Mm,
when I saw him, saw like so many auditions for this character because it is a fun role, like
yeah.
playing the bad guy and getting to do all this. Um, but when I saw his audition, I knew immediately this is the guy. Like he brought something so unique, his presence, right? Like you said, he's just so interesting to look at. He just has this presence with him. And yeah, as soon as I saw his audition, I was just like, no, that's our guy. That's our ghost. Immediately. Like immediately. And so did everyone. Like all the producers, everybody were just like, yep, that's Ghost. Uh, but yeah, working with him, it was a very he brought a lot. Like he's actually a magician, so all
Oh,
that
all
card stuff
right.
you saw, yeah, the card stuff when he was in the bar, he brought that. He's like, oh, I'd like
Wow.
to play cards. Can I bring some cards and just start shuffling? I'm like, yeah, man,
Yep.
absolutely. Like I wish we
Absolutely.
could have explored a little bit more of that aspect of him. Um, but yeah, it was a collaborative experience, but he did bring a lot to that character on his own. We just gave him the freedom. I mean, just like go, man, go play. Like have fun with this guy.
Is there
He's
a Max Montesi prequel movie coming out
yeah,
in the
right.
future? I
He
would love to see that.
it's how he got to become the ghost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how
that's
he
that's the
became the
thing.
ghost.
That's the thing, man. I'd love to be able to expand this universe and get to meet all these characters prior to this, and then the ones that made it through after. Like it'd be great to see them in the internship and how they became those characters.
It's such a great script on building this world. I mean, it wasn't far fetched or anything like that. It was laid out kind of quite perfectly. And I know you mentioned you had, reduced or minimal shooting time and everything else. You juggled a lot of plots in this film, but I feel like
Mm,
you couldn't have done it any better. From world building to the characters and giving everybody their time to shine. It feels like it was just a fantastic overall effort from everyone. You, sir, you are being a little modest when you say you have a little bit of a stunt background. You have an extensive stunt background. And the thing that jumped out to me first and foremost was you were involved with Rumble in the Bronx.
yeah, that was my
And
first movie. Yeah,
if
my
anybody
first.
doesn't know what
Here,
Rumble in the Bronx is, oh my God, look at this.
I can't really
Jeez.
see it. So
No,
that's
I can see
Jackie.
it.
Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my God. If anybody doesn't
that's
know what
us.
Rumble in the Bronx is, I might get this wrong, but this is probably his first American crossover film. Would you
I
say
think
that?
Well, I think he did the Big Brawl and the Protector. I think he did before Rumble.
Okay, but this was
Uh,
definitely like probably the
I
bigger
think this was
one out of
his.
those.
This was like his kind of production, like with his people and everyone. I think the other ones were he was just a hired gun coming
Yeah.
in to play these roles, but I think this was like his production. Yeah, I was the biggest Jackie Chan fan, like the biggest growing up. He was like my hero, my idol. Anything Jackie, I loved.
Yeah.
He actually is like one of the guys that kind of got me. Him and Lee Majors got me into the stunt world. What you know? I mean, the Fall Guy, right? Like that was with Lee Majors. That was like
Nice,
and Jackie,
nice.
right? I
Yeah.
just watched like that's how I learned like martial arts. Is like I grew up in poverty and so didn't have money to take kung fu classes. So a lot of my stuff would be watching Jackie Chan movies and like doing all the moves and copying it, So it was
That's
just,
incredible.
yeah, it was incredible. So when I got to work with him, um, on my first, I moved to Vancouver and it was just like, get into the film business, this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed kid, and then I got on set and I was sitting around a circle with all these other stunt guys that didn't know him, and I had this encyclopedia. It was like a book this thick about Jackie Chan, and
Oh
I
my
was like
God.
going through. I was like I was like a fan, total
Yeah.
fanboy, right? So I was like going through it, and then I felt this hand on my shoulder, and I'm like, oh, and I look up, and there's Jackie, and he proceeded to grab the book from me, sit down beside me, and tell me all the stories in this book, and just an amazing, yeah, oh yeah,
What
first
does that feel
experience.
like? Jesus.
Oh, it means it really, to me, it was like I belong here. You know what I mean? It kind of gave me that thing like this is the family I want to be a part of, the
Yeah.
filmmaking community and the arts and the creative. This is where I want to live. This is my home, and
Yeah.
that just solidified it because having that, watching someone on screen and the next thing you know he's touching you. You know what I mean? It's just like that manifestation. It was just an amazing experience. Yeah.
And I promise this is gonna get back to the painter in a second, but
Yeah.
the Rumble in the Bronx, I feel like is the blueprint of Hollywood martial arts movies from that point forward. Everybody wanted to be like Rumble in the Bronx
Yeah.
because you had the movies that came before it, the real martial arts films that all came before it. But this was the
Yep.
first time that like uh it was like a blockbuster, the smallest blockbuster movie you can think of that
Yeah.
dealt with martial arts, and it was so unique, and the fighting was so inventive and
Hmm.
creative, and American audiences had never seen anything like that before. Like
Yeah.
nothing even close came to that. Everything was so straightforward before that. All we had before that was Bruce Lee movies where he's just wrecking through people left and right.
Yeah. That's
But
right.
this was a blueprint for like what movies could be after that. So I bring that
Absolutely.
up to all say you must have really had a huge focus on the choreography in this movie because you come from this long line of stunt work
Well,
and you've worked with the
abs-
best. Jackie's is the best.
absolutely. And the thing is that on that movie, I think that movie it was 6 month shoot,
Mm.
Rumble in the Bronx, right? And we had all this time to play, to get those sequences and that action. Like on this movie, the painter, we did not have that time. This was no 6 months.
I
So
gotcha.
you know what I mean? We yes, there's an eye attention to detail, and you try to people like Jackie and observing this and learning from this throughout my career. Yeah, I had a great stunt coordinator, Daniel Rizzuto, who's ex MMA, awesome fight choreographer, or choreographer. He's a director in his own right. But we only had like a week and a little bit to work with the actors to get these sequences, and then on the day, what I mean, we have a massive action sequence, but we also have other scenes that we have to
Yeah,
go and shoot. You know what I mean? So it's just you try the best, you do the best you can with what you got. And,
I
you don't
gotcha.
complain. Yeah, and you just barrel forward and try to get it. Get as much as you can. But yeah,
Well,
it's been a fun ride.
Absolutely. Congrats again on The Painter. The Painter is out streaming on Paramount Plus already today. Go check it out. Check it out if you're a fan of action movies, spy films, or if you've loved Jon Voight since Varsity Blues, go check out The Painter. Fantastic cast, great script, um, sinister characters like Max Montesi's Ghost, just a lot of fun. And congrats again, man.
I appreciate it.
Anything else you want to say about The Painter before we wrap up here?
Just how much of a joy and working with all these talented people and being able to, I feel blessed every day when I'm working and when I can work and talking to people like you, Steady, is it's a blessed world, you know what I mean? And everyone should have fun, and this is fun. Do what you love.
Absolutely. That'll do from us, folks. Go check out The Painter. And Kimani, congrats again, sir. And can't wait
Thank
to see more
you.
from you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.